होता। अगर कोशिश ही ना करे इंसान तो कामयाबी से मेल नहीं होता। Please, let's have a huge round of applause for Aurangabad HR Forum. On behalf of all HR fraternity, I humbly request Mr. Raja Upadhyay of HDFC Bank to welcome Dr. Bhalchandra Kango with bouquet as an expression of affection. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Our industrial relations scenario has been very healthy, thanks to the government and their policies. The fact remains that manufacturing industry play a key role in developing a new India. When management and labor work together, there are frictions and difficulties faced by both the parties. It's duty of management, trade union leaders and government to work closely for maintaining balance and healthy relations. We feel fortunate to have with us our today's lead speaker, Honorable Dr. Bhalchandra Kango. Sir, you hardly need any introduction. You have made all of us proud by your distinguished work in numerous capacity of healthy industrial relations. Dr. Bhalchandra Kango, born in Ahmedabad, had school education in Hyderabad and obtained medical degree from Government Medical College, Aurangabad in 1974. Left practice in 1990 and became a full-time activist. In 1975, he joined All India Trade Union Congress, an oldest trade union federation in India. Worked as in charge of Education Department and National Secretary and Working Committee member. He was also a steering committee member of Global Labour University, a project of International Labour Organization. At present, working as president of Greece Cotton, a light employee union, and general secretary of All Marathwada Kamgar Union. Also working as editor of Uganda, weekly published from Mumbai since 1954. He has been working as director of Unions-by-Aurangabad, a well-known publishing house in Marathi, and has recently taken over as chairman of People Publishing House, Delhi. Associated with many cultural and social organization in the city and the state. He was active in student movement and theatre activities. Also working as National Secretariat member of the Communist Party of India. Please join me in welcoming on dais Dr. Bhalchandra Kango.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Aurangabad HR Forum is almost like becoming my house. Though I am not a member, I feel that I am a member, permanent invitee member if I call myself. It would not be out of order. Anyway, when Yogesh called me and said that he's likely to arrange a program and I should speak on something, I had in last 2 months, I had a chance to visit Tata Institute of Social Science and Gujarat Industries Association, where I was given an opportunity to speak on 2 important topics. One was new forms of employment and challenges. Another was existence of trade unions and present scenario. That was the 2 topics. And I was always thinking about it. So when Yogesh suggested that I should speak something, I thought, let me speak about my experience as a trade unionist. And this experience since 1975 till today has been to accept the challenge of change and to adjust with it. So I thought that it would not be out of the way if I introspect in front of you about the challenges that we face. Because I feel at home, and home is the best place to introspect. So I thought, let me do it. Change is constant. That is the fun, When you think of something like being constant, you don't look at change. Change is constant. And that is the reality of life. But today, along with change, what has happened is the speed of change. In 1974, when I came to Aurangabad, it itself was a big change. For industries were shifting from Mumbai and other places to Aurangabad. And the workmen here were not exposed to industrial culture. So that was a big change for industries to employ people who are not exposed to industrial culture. And for the workmen to adjust with the new industrial culture. That itself was a change, and we as a trade unionists played an important part. There was a lot of violence, there were a lot of agitations, and everything happened during that period. But one thing was certain, that the companies are here to stay, and workers also would like to become permanent and would like to retire from that companies. And so that was the vision. So everybody thought of permanence, because that was the experience that they had. But suddenly after 1987-89, things started changing very fast. The thought of permanency vanished. The speed of change which took place, most of you are from industries, so I don't have to go into the details, but I'll explain. As a trade unionist, I was taught by Comrade Bardhan in 1975 that we organize workers because they are honestly working for 8 hours. And it is the management which has to look after whether they are working for 8 hours normally or not. It is not the job of the trade union to look after and tell workers to work normally. Because workers are supposed to do it, and it is the management's job to make them work normally. Why should trade union get involved in it? So we refused to have any settlement which were productivity linked. Not only that, we also refused to have any settlement in which production was mentioned. Things were changing very fast. Our colleagues like Dr. Datta Saman and others had emerged, and they had changed the whole scenario of agriculture, agreement culture. They started saying that how much money will you and how much production will be. A new culture had emerged. And as a trade unionist who joined in 1971 Aurangabad, I had to adjust with it. I had to first of all fight with my old trade union comrade Dhume, who joined trade unionists after he got a gold medal from electrical engineering from Mumbai Engineering College. But he did not join any management services, but on the first day joined a trade union. Second example was Dr. Raj Bahadur Gaur, the man who got gold medal from Osmania Medical College. And the day he got the gold medal, he was arrested by Nizam and put into jails. But then he never worked as a doctor and worked as a trade union leader. So these were our examples on which we followed. So we had to fight with them first of all, to make them realize that things are changing. Competition is coming, and the companies have to survive. Particularly as a trade union, as a student leader, I have fought and got it and went to jail to bring industries in Maratha. So therefore we were obliged that we have fought for the industries have come. So industries should not at least close down. In fact, I remember one of the reasons why I joined trade union was one day I was sitting with a veteran leader, Unions-by-Aurangabad, who most of you know. One day told me in his office that you fought for the industries, but the industries which have come here like API, Centron, Prakal, because of labor union problems, they are closing down. So we need someone who can go there and work constructively and help the industries to survive and also workers to solve their problems. So I remember the first success we had was to restart Centron Industrial Company. Then the Prakal was the second. And slowly I entered into the trade union movement. I had an advantage because I went and practiced in the working class area. In fact, I went there to become a trade unionist, not as a doctor, but as a doctor, I got an advantage because if you remember, now things are changing. Now doctors are no longer looked as semi-courts, they are looked after criminals. But there was a time and doctors were looked after as almost like a semi-court. And that was the time I started my practice. So I had an advantage. Workers used to come, we used to talk to them about labor laws, about unionization, about responsibilities, and slowly we started having our unions in number of areas. And there I realized that workers are not working for 8 hours. And it was very difficult to sell this idea to the trade union leaders who were working since 40, 50 years. And then I took the chance and started having settlements in which some productivity linkage was there. Of course, for that time motion study, the old age concept helped us. But I was very happy in 1984 when I started signing time motion study agreements. Things changed very fast. Now no longer people were talking of time motion studies. People started talking of something different. People started talking of most and other things. Men on operational techniques came in and people started talking about it. They said that machines are working. That work is measured by time motion studies, but the time for which the workers are spending is not measured. So workers have to work for 480 minutes, that is the law. And therefore workers have to operate multi-machines. Now in principle we didn't oppose it. But as a trade unionist, to ask workers to operate multi-machines means to accept some form of unemployment. So it was a moral question, moral hazard. How do we do it? But then competition compelled us. That's why I'm saying 1985, 1989 was a defining period when slowly structural adjustment program imposed by World Bank had started coming in. Free competition, globalization, the winds of globalization started moving in. International competition started coming in. License policy almost was liberalized. So factories started moving from one place to another very easily. All these things, compelled trade unions to adjust to these kind of changes. So many of us accepted manner of operational techniques. Then came the automations. Forget about multi-machines. Machines came where workers were almost de-skilled. I remember workers used to say that I am a turner, I will not do another job. In fact, I remember having attended inquiries where a turner was asked to do some other job, electrician was asked to do some other job, a welder was asked to do some other job. And they said, my appointment letter said that I am appointed as a welder, I am appointed as a turner, so why should I work? And I defended that time. But then slowly we realized that this is not going to work. Because the nature of work is changing. And the permanency of work is no longer there. So if you want to protect the interest of the workers, you have to ask them to do multi-skilling. You have to compel them to work at the different places. And I am very happy in Aurangabad, at least we succeeded in many companies in making workers accept multi-skilling, and therefore the conflicts were not there. But having adjusted with that multi-skilling also, the new problem came in. In fact, in spite of 400 and accepting most, the competition was still there. So management started, in fact I remember the first agreement with Bajaj, and that was after a long strike. After that agreement, the second agreement was signed in which the exact minutes of work were mentioned, that workers will work for 480 minutes. As a trade unionist, I was really shocked. The worker is a human being. He has to go for water. He has to go for washrooms for his emergencies. How can he accept 480 minutes of work? But it was accepted. And it was the workers who accepted it. So if one company accepted it, the other companies also accepted it. But we made it a point, and therefore we insisted that we will at least have 10 to 20 minutes for our workers. And so we insisted that it should not be more than 460 minutes under any circumstances, for which I might have lost 1 or 2 unions also. But at least we wanted to, because I felt the most important task of the trade union is to make workers and the management realize that workers are not machines. They are human beings. And therefore they have to be treated as human beings. And that slowly we are forgetting. The change is compelling us to forget that we are dealing with human beings. And that is my biggest worry and biggest pain, I guess. In fact, I remember Henry Ford, when he introduced that famous conveyor on which workers were not ready to work. Therefore he gave them incentive, gave them $5 for 8 hours and brought them to work. He had once said that how is that when I want only two pairs of hands to work, I have to employ the whole human being. You see the tragedy of it. When you employ human being, you don't only employ human being, you employ his family. Because he has a wife, he has a father, he has a mother, he has 2 children, and he has to take care of everything. So employing a person means taking up a responsibility of a family. That concept was getting lost slowly in the pursuit of existence in competitive world.
we started losing that perception. But then I reflected, is it only happening in India? Then I realized it is happening all over the world. Why it is happening? Because our whole development has been to replace human beings to earn more profit. See, there has been a clear indication that labor has to be cheap. Now, in the negotiations, many of the people tell me, try to convince me that what is the labor cost? Not even 8%, 6%. So why should we fight on it? But it's only for the sake of argument. If you realize the real profit comes only from what you pay to your employees. You pay less, you get more. Of course, other factors are there. But therefore, there has been a consistent effort to reduce the wages. But that also doesn't help. So there has been an effort to replace worker itself. What are the machines doing these days? Automation is replacing. Therefore, we initially from 1990 till 2012, the period was described as jobless growth because there was no employment growth. After 2012, we started talking of job loss growth. But growth is there. It is job loss that is taking place. People are losing jobs. And still growth is taking place. This is the contradiction that we have to understand. And this is leading us to the crisis today. In fact, this has happened once upon a time in the world. But that time the world answered that problem in a different manner. That was in 1929 and 30 when the general crisis of capitalism came in. And when there was mass closure of industries and mass unemployment took place everywhere in the world. At that time, the famous economist Keynes had said, General Theory of Employment he wrote, and in which he convinced everyone that it is the job of the government to spend money and encourage production so that people will get work. And only when people get work and money, the market are generated and we can fight the slowdown. That was the theory that he put forward. In fact, he jocularly said that if you don't have work, ask some people to dig trenches and ask some other people to fill the trenches. But see that people work and you pay them money. Are we heading toward the same problem today? When we talk of universal basic income, what does it mean? It means that people do not have purchasing capacity. And in order to increase their purchasing capacity, we are thinking of giving money to all people. This is the same logic that is prevailing. It is exactly almost 100 years. And we are back to the same place. So, are we not aware of this problem? Today, the economic slowdown which our government unfortunately is very unwillingly accepting it. Because things were supposed to be growing at a faster speed. But unfortunately, the reality is something different, and therefore government was compelled. The budget that was presented in July had to be almost squashed within a period of 2 months, withdrawing all the tax rates and other things, because there is an economic slowdown. And the answer to the economic slowdown seems to be to put more money, make money cheap, available, make loan easily available. But there is already overcapacity. After the 2008 economic crisis, the government has pumped in money, which has created overcapacity. And unfortunately, that capacity is not being fully utilized. So there is no interest in investing money. There is no confidence that if I invest money, I will get the returns. And that is what is being reflected in NPA and the bank losses and the losses of the non-banking financial sectors. Why the money is not coming back? Because loans are not being repaid. Why? Not everybody is a Badmash. Not everybody is Vijay Mallya. Not everybody is Nirav Choksi. Let me understand. There are problems. When people are unable to sell, how can they repay? Nobody is trying to adjust this question. And ultimate burden is also, of course, on the workers. And that is what is happening. So what is the way out? And therefore we always say that it is the consumption which has to increase. Thomas Piketty in his famous book, in fact he has written 2 books. The second book is still not translated in English, it is only in the French. But the first book, Capitalism in 21st Century, has already been translated, in which he has studied 250 countries' economy for a period of 200 years. And he has clearly shown that the period between 1930 to 1980, which he calls as a golden compromise period, a period of compromise between the labor and the capital, in which the profits were also increasing and the real wages of workers were also increasing. Of course, what was not happening was what you call is the Gini coefficient that we call. You see, the difference between the income of the rich and the poor was not increasing, it was getting reduced. That means disparity between income was getting reduced. That was a reality. But this period remained from 1930 to 1980. After 1980, because of the tremendous problems in economy, stagflation, that is, inflation was going on, but the profits were not increasing, profits were falling. So naturally, people who were investing wanted to invest for more profits. So markets were liberalized. And investments went to the areas where labor was cheap, raw material was cheap, where the markets were there, so that people could earn more profit. The investors could get more profit. It was a financial economy that was taking over the production economy. And that is what we have seen. We have seen that it has reached its pinnacle now. Everything is for share market. What determines is whether the share prices are increasing or not. We never bother to say how many people are really involved in the share market. In India, not more than 10 to 12% are involved in share market. But still we are concerned about it. That I call it the Anglo-Saxon model. There is another model in the world, but we don't copy. That is called as the European model. That is basically a German model, in which all stakeholders are taken into consideration. It is not only the interest of the shareholders, it is the interest of the workers, it is the interest of the government, it is the interest of the people, it is the interest of the citizens and environment. Everything is taken into consideration. Therefore, Germany is the first country which has declared that they will not have any nuclear plants. Though Germany has 6 months of winter, they are the people using maximum solar energy. Because all stakeholders, cost increases, but all stakeholders are taken onto the board. And therefore the trade unions there, during the 2008 crisis, had a very interesting settlement, in which the management assured that there will be no retrenchment, and workers assured that they will not demand higher wages. So this is what I call the European model. But unfortunately, we don't talk about European model. We only talk about Anglo-Saxon model, maybe because Britishers ruled on us for 150 years, and because we still consider America to be the citadel for which we should copy. Everyone thinks that American lifestyle is the best, though there is a crisis in American lifestyle itself. I would not go into that, because that is a major different problem altogether, but that is a major problem. Can we give American lifestyle to all the people in India, given our population of 1.30 billion? Can we? If we not, what is the point in copying that kind of model? That is the biggest problem when I try to face the change. Because I have to adjust. As a trade unionist, I can't give lectures to the workers saying that let us fight and defeat this government and defeat this everything. The workers won't wait for it because they want an immediate agreement. Management also wants immediate solution. Though everybody understands that we have problems which we need to solve, but they feel that it is somebody else's job to solve the problem. Our problem is to increase production, increase profitability, and worker job, trade union job is to increase bonus and the payment to the workers. So we concentrate only, we become pragmatic. We live for today, forgetting about tomorrow. And that is a major problem when we try to face the change. In fact, I remember when I go back, I remember an incident. We had a Tonga union in Aurangabad in 1948. I was not born, but my mother-in-law and father-in-law who were trade unionists, they had organized Tonga unions. First service started. They opposed it. So it is not new. This process is called as creative destructions. But there was something which was being created and which added value. Not only value, it also gave opportunities for the new jobs and new employment. And therefore that problem didn't escalate. Definitely, some people definitely lost jobs, some people lost life, and whatever may be the reason, but majority of the people benefited. So the concept of creative destruction was the reality. But now, is that reality? Now destruction is taking place. But is it a creative destruction? It is still, because new 3D printing is coming, artificial intelligence is coming, new things are coming, so naturally it is a very creative thing. But is it giving employment? Is it creating sufficient job as required by the society? This is the question which, as a trade unionist and as a citizen of this country, as a citizen of the world, you will have to address. When we start talking about fourth industrial revolution, people are talking of losing 59% of existing jobs. How are we going to cope with this change? These are the questions which are before me. Future of work. In fact, people are talking of end of work. They see all machines are going to work, people will not be able to, it is not necessary for people to work. That kind of world they are imagining. For India, it will take another 50 years. Forget about it, most of us will not be alive to see that day. But still, that doesn't mean, if we are dead, that doesn't mean the world's problems are solved. It may be for us that the problems are solved, but not for the world. Problem still remains. And it is wise for the existing generation to think and talk about those problems so that we can find real solutions to the problems. Unfortunately, that is not happening. Everybody is trying to live for today, forgetting what is going to happen. That is what that girl, Greta Thunberg, is telling us. That please reduce carbon emissions. Otherwise, the world will not survive. A 10 and 12 years girl is telling all the presidents and the prime ministers of the world. That is what we have come to. Environmental crisis is taking toll. As a trade unionists, we have to address. But the problems are very great. How do we do it? In fact, in Ahmedabad I was, does trade union existence have any meaning in the present world? In fact, today if you see the Indian scenario, trade unions are fighting a losing battle. See, contradictions are very interesting. Only country where trade union membership is increasing is India. But what are the sections where trade union membership is increasing? Most of them are service sectors. Anganwadi workers, Asha workers, construction workers. Low-paid jobs, insecure jobs. These are the jobs where trade union membership is increasing, where government is the major employer. And therefore, fight takes place, some benefits accrue to them. And that is where the membership is increasing. But what about the other sectors? Think, this is sponsored by HDFC. How many bargainable staff HDFC has? How many bargainable staff ICCI has? How many bargainable staff IndusInd banks have? And that model is being now copied by all the public sector banks. We have United Forum of Bank Employees, which have 9 unions and officers are also there. Till 6th, 7th or 8th bipartite, I remember because I am involved in it. Workers dominated, the bargainable staff dominated the discussions. But this time when we are going to negotiate, the number of officers are more than the workers of bargainable staff. So interests have changed. We were more interested in not increasing 8 hours of working days. Officers don't bother. They said we never had 8 hours working day. So working hours is not our problem. What do we do now? We are in United Forum. We want a settlement. We don't want workload to increase. But they said that we are not bothered about it because workload is increasing. They can't resist it. As an officer, they cannot refuse it. So something new is happening. And we have to do it. In the industrial area is what is happening. See, as a trade unionist, I'm supposed to look after temporary workers, I'm supposed to look after contract laborers, I'm supposed to look after, glorified NEEM workers. Are they workers? I don't know. I have to look after them. But with whose help I can look after them? The permanent workers tell me, our interest should not be affected. How do I fight? Then I find out a way. I can't fight those issues in one country. So I try to organize multiple unions and all over the India I try to organize all trade unions and make issues and fight as we have done on 16th and 17th of September, as we will be doing on 8th of January, where we emphasize on the social security to all, minimum wage to all, bonus to all. I mean, these issues we try to take up with general problem where all workers can come together and fight. But in individual factories, if I insist that all contract labor should be given equal work, equal wage, most of the management say that this man is going after our blood, company is going to close down. It's not going to work. So these are the issues. And I know it, unless I organize this unorganized section of the workmen, my membership will not increase. My existence in that state, because the permanent workers are slowly getting retired. There is no new recruitment that is taking place. In the companies where I have 10,000, 9,000 workers, now there are 118, 19 workers. Just today I had a settlement of 7 workers in a company which where there were 400 workers. But because of good relations that I have, the management said, "Baba, don't insist on 8th worker. If you keep 7 workers, we'll sign a settlement." These things are happening and we have to adjust with it. But will it continue for long? In fact, I know 2-3 companies where there are 18 permanent workers and 180 leave workers. How do I find in such companies? So these are issues for trade unions. But still I feel trade union has a very important thing which helps the society at large. What is it? See, ultimately today's problem is to increase the purchasing capacity of the individual. So distribution of profits or distribution of money, wages, and distribution of the super profits that are being earned is a challenge. And which is the organization which does it, which compels government to do it? At least I don't see any other organization in the world except trade unions. It is the trade unions which fight for this. They may not agree. All unions fighting in a particular company may not have this kind of vision, but this is the reality of trade unions. What trade unions did was, it helped in distribution of profits and which sustained the market. Please remember in 2019-29 when the market collapsed, it was the trade unions and the support which trade unions got from the government and from the society, through which we as a trade unionists became very strong. Today we exist is because of the experience of 1932 to 1980, when so many things like Provident Fund, ESIC, workmen compensation, gratuity, bonus, and right to negotiate a wage settlement, all this came during that period. And that helped trade unions to become strong. But after 1980, suddenly trade unions were looked after the enemy of the people. I remember in 1984 when we were negotiating, I remember in 1982 in fact, when Comrade Indrajit Gupta was we organized 32 trade unions in Shanmugam Hall in Mumbai, and where we presented a charter of demands to the government asking them not to accept the structural adjustment program of the World Bank. Because we said that in the long run this will be detrimental to the interest of the workers and to the interest of the poor people. At that time we had no one, the ration system will go away, the public sector will be sold, working hours will increase, the right to trade union will be compromised. All these things we had mentioned that time. Nobody thought of that time, but we did it. And we fought since 1984, every year we have one day strike and one huge demonstration before the parliament. And because of that, labor laws, at least in India, till 2014 did not change. We did not achieve something more. We flew bargain here and there, some changes in bonus and gratuity we got. But otherwise, it was a status quo. The laws remained. Management wanted to do whatever thing they did it. And we also accepted it because the workers, permanent workers were not harmed. So this is a new type of compromise that the trade unions and the management in this period of competition is having. You don't touch permanent workers. So you don't talk about other temporary workers, contract workers, and what is their deployment and other thing, you don't question. So leave and let leave. Unions accepted it, but the problem is now unions are realizing that in the process of leave and let leave, the persons for whom they were fighting are getting retired. So there is no union left in many of the companies. So this is the new situation which the trade unions now have to come to terms with. And we are trying to. But unfortunately, because of the environment and because of the lack of glamour for the trade union job, people once upon a time, doctors, engineers, lawyers entered into the trade union field because they felt that yes, this is where I can do service to the people. Now that feeling is no longer there. Most of the trade unions, particularly in Bombay and other belt, have been hijacked by so-called underworld. In fact, if you study the American trade unionism, this is exactly what happened. Lumpenization of trade unions. All mafia gangs, Italian mafia gangs took over the union in America.
After 1920, till 1920-22, unions in America were very strong. But after 1922, most of the big unions were taken over by mafia. Union leaders were murdered. That is what has happened. That in India also murder took place, but not to that extent, because unions were not that strong in India. Never. But still, I remember few of the unions being taken over with committee members being taken from their house and shown AK-147 and were asked to accept any particular leader. We have witnessed those kind of things and we couldn't do anything. Because the committee members said, "Baba, you are good people, everything is there, but if AK-47 comes, what can I do? It is not my existence, it is my family's and my children's existence is at stake. Forget about union, let it go to hell." That happened. And that kind of culture has come in. So that has destroyed the trade union, plus this new type of automation that is coming in. The artificial intelligence, the robotics that is coming in, is reducing the capacity of union to bargain. In fact, I remember that once upon a time, now we are in the 60th year of formation of Maharashtra state. I am very proud to say that if Mumbai remained in Maharashtra, it is because of the fight of the working class. It was the textile mill workers, the Girni Mazdoor as we call them, who fought and sacrificed. 105 people lost their life. But under the leadership of Comrade Dange, we sought with that Pandit Nehru had to accept the condition that Mumbai will be the capital of Maharashtra. And it is exactly 60 years we are completing. That time, the textile worker could stop the wheels of Mumbai. If they came on the road, nothing moved in Mumbai. But the same workers, textile workers went on strike in 1984, nothing happened. Nothing stopped in Mumbai. Nobody was, except the textile workers, and perhaps the textile mill owners and the management perhaps might have been affected. Owners were not affected because I negotiated with an owner, he said, "My family has been running textile mill for 100 years. And this year I have earned a profit in 1 year after the mill was closed was much more than what I have earned in 100 years. Because he sold his land for 450 crores. So this is the new reality. Where people who are selling are getting more than people who are producing. And therefore nowadays when you think of new type of ownership that is coming in, that is a new challenge. For example, now there was a law which was passed in California recently. Interesting. Because that is likely to happen in India. Uber drivers, are they workers? They own the cars. But they went on strike. And California now has passed a law saying that they are all workers. Please understand, change in law does take place when people fight. What happens in India? Because we have a new type of relationship that is emerging. When we talk of new forms of employment, in India there is a new form of employment called is a vendor development. Now vendors, on one hand they are owners, on the other hand they are suppliers. What if all vendors go on strike and government passes a law that vendors are labor, like California? What will happen? Think about it. But this situation is coming up very fast. How long can you go on exploiting vendors? And how long vendors can go on exploiting workers, employing them for 12 hours, 14 hours, paying them less than minimum wage and earning profit out of it? This can't continue for a long time. There is bound to be unrest. So this is a new change that we have to face. There are other issues. I was reading a very interesting article about HR interviews. The modern HRs were told, what are the skills that you are looking for? 3 of the big officers said that we are looking for soft skills. Please try to understand. Soft skill means your capacity to communicate. Your capacity to understand things. Now do you ever ask anyone in the interview these things? Do you ever consider these soft skills while employing a person? But they said that modern technology now requires soft skills. People who use their brain and creativity rather than physical power to solve the problems.
And therefore we are looking for soft skills. Is our education system competent to develop these soft skills? Our government does talk of skilling India. In fact, I remember Manmohan Singh, when he brought the first budget, he had earmarked 500 crores for retraining of the workmen. What happened to that 500 crores, I don't know, and what happened to retraining also, I don't know. But 500 crores were earmarked in 93, for reskilling of workmen. So not that government is done, society is not aware of it. But when we are talking of different kind of skills, see what has happened in India is we have missed one stage of development. See, normal stage of development in any country, any developing country is, first of all, it is the agriculture which is doing well, which has a maximum share of in GDP, then it is the industrial, and then it is the service sector. Slowly what happens? The industrial sector increases, productivity increases, production increases, profit increases, and the share of agriculture goes down, the share of industry increases, and share of service industry also slowly increases. And when you are developed, it is the share of service industry which is more, and the share of productive or assets or industry you call is the second in number, and agriculture is the third. In India, what has happened? If you analyze our GDP, 60% comes from service industry. From industry it is constant, it is only 24%, it is not increasing. From agriculture, yes, it is becoming 15%, 14%. From in 1947 we had 50% contribution of agriculture, which has come down to 15%. But the problem is, in 1947 the population was less, but still 65% of the people were employed in agriculture. Today population has tripled. The GDP ratio has come down to 15%, but still 55% of the people are surviving on agriculture. This is the reality of the poverty in India. And this is the reality of the problem in India. We are trying to copy America and other places where these problems never existed. People employed in agriculture were not to that extent. And therefore today if you see 2%, 5%, maximum 10% people in France are employed in agriculture. Rest of them are mostly employed in industries or in service industry. We have developed our economy, if you try to analyze, is almost like a developed economy. 60% comes from the service industry. But still, 55% people are in agriculture. And what about the security, social security of the people employed in service industry? Zero. Very interesting experience I had. I went to Hinjewadi. Because we were educated, few of us, my colleague who is a IIT graduate from Kharagpur, he is a metallurgist. So we both were given challenge by Gurdas Das Gupta, our MP, that you are educated, you can speak English, you can convince, you are from middle class, please go to Hinjewadi and convince the IT people to join union. We went, we had meetings. Simple questions were asked. Why should we join unions? My colleague said, in order to get security. Two girls said, who wants security? We are not going to stay in the job for more than 5 years. We are going to change the jobs. The question was solved. Then the second question was asked, what is the maximum salary that you have been able to achieve as a trade unionist? I am talking of 1995, 1960. They said 50,000. They said already we are drawing more than 60,000. So ultimate net result of our effort was all the drivers and the canteen suppliers who were supplying it joined our union, nobody else joined. Because this particular class of workers who have now been absorbed by the management, I will say, till the crisis came, never felt the need of the union. Now I think the first union has been registered in Pune of the IT workers because the insecurity that has come in. And the job employment potential, the possibilities are also getting reduced. So now they are thinking of how to get social security, how to maintain salaries and other things. So things are changing. Things don't remain as they are. So therefore the trade unions will not lose its relevance. Of course, the methodology of fight, methodology of negotiating will have to change. Because we have a double task. We have the task of making the institution which is providing us bread and butter to survive in the period of competition. Therefore, adjustment will have to be done. But at the same time, our long-term interests will have to be protected. So there will be a mixed bag before us. There will be a challenge, there will be an opportunity. So that is what is happening. And therefore I am very optimistic that trade unions will not lose their importance, because it is the only institutions which still fights for disbursement of the profits. There is no other institution. We have not evolved. We have not, government sometimes talks about it, but now people are talking of minimum government and maximum governance. And by labor reforms we are saying that labor should be cheap, because we have to compete with China. But China has a cheap labor, therefore we should also have cheap labor. So how do we achieve this kind of disparity? So only trade unions is an institution which achieves this. Therefore the relevance of trade unions will not be lost. Of course, new things are happening. As I told you, artificial intelligence is coming in, robotics is coming in. In fact, yesterday only I saw a picture of the first product, that is a small boat constructed by 3D printing machine, which has been just brought into the market for the sale. This will have a very long-term effect, because we are adjusting to an economy of mass production. So far, the American production or European production shifted to Asia because this mass production is the need of the day. But this new 3D technology and the robotics and artificial intelligence is bringing a new type of production which will serve individual capacities. An individual can order the type of thing that he wants, and 3D printing machine can get it. So the pressure of mass production will not come. And if mass production doesn't come, then where is the strength of workers being joined into union and fighting? So different type of structures are going to be evolved. Different type of challenges are going to come. In India, that will not come for 40 years, 30, 40 years. Let me be very clear about it. For one reason, because Indian economy is a very peculiar economy. So many people have talked about why GST and why demonetization. Number of reasons are given, but the real reason is very obvious. You know, you are from industry, you should know it. In India, the conflict is between the organized corporate industry versus an unorganized industry. If you do demonetization, who gets the hit? It is the unorganized sector gets the hits, and that is what the government was interested. Rest of the things are all humbug. Bringing black money and taking care of the terrorism, all these were humbug and pills to sell the people. But the reality was helping the corporate sector to hit the unorganized economy. What is GST? It is the same thing. The talk is of increasing the revenue. And we think that is the progress. So that model is being imposed on us. And people are there because they want profit, they want new technology, new gadgets, everything. So naturally it is being welcomed. But whether in the long interest will it help Indian people? And can we oppose it? This is another question. So we need to negotiate between this. I have got an example. Because the bank employees are sitting here, bank officers are sitting there, what I can say, that when the computers were introduced into public sector bank, we were accused that we are opposing computerization. But you please try to understand, today public sector banks, almost all of them have been computerized. But we did it over a period of time. We protected jobs. And we did not oppose computerization. In every agreement we say that 10% of the branches will be computerized. So we allowed a gradual change to the that protected the interest of the workers, that protected the interest of the bank, and that protested. We were not in a hurry. So this is the question that we have to ask. Are we in a hurry to catch with the world by keeping thousands and thousands of people jobless? Are we interested in that kind of a new world? India may become great. I was asked what will happen with 5 trillion economy that India is being planned. I said America is a 20 trillion economy but still struggling to give medical aid to 4 crore people who can't afford a medical treatment in America. Do we want that kind of a country? This is a simple question which we have to ask, because we are Indians at first. We may be management, we may be the workers, but ultimately we are Indians. So what kind of vision that India is going to have in the future? Are we going to have a vision which will be copying the West, particularly American model, in which machines dominate and human interests are subordinate? The profit dominates, the shareholders dominate, and rest of them are subordinate to that. Their job is only to serve the interest of the finance. Is that model viable in India? This is the question. Of course, so many people talk of something, appropriate technology. Some people say that incentives should be given to the companies who are employing more people. A lot of things are being talked. We need to experiment. There is no question about it. We need to experiment. But now people are talking of giving freebies. In fact, I remember the Switzerland, there was a voting, and very surprisingly, people who were for free pension lost. Switzerland government had proposed that each person who is crossed 50 years will be given some $600 per year, per month as a bailout. And whether that should be given or not. So there was a voting and 62% of the people voted against it. So the government had to squash that scheme. But such ideas are coming in because the problem is how to sustain the market. If people do not have money, people have some properties. In India today, what has happened is we had some properties. Somebody had a small house, somebody had a small piece of land. So in the time of crisis, they were selling it and they were surviving it. In fact, we had a housing bubble in America. What was that? You started giving loans with a stipulated income of the house. And ultimately the loans were taken and houses were not sold for that. So the crisis came in. Today also in India, according to me, of course economists may not agree, that the cycle that was sustained in spite of rising unemployment was because people were selling land and earning money, as it happened in Karma. So many cars were sold in Aurangabad. 154 Mercedes came in. Who were the purchasers? People who had sold land and earned money. Now if you go out and try to sell the land, nobody is ready to purchase and nobody is ready to give money. So economy is halted. So that cycle which started with the construction industry is now in crisis. So how do we come out of it? These are challenges. I have no answers. Let me be very clear. But these are the challenges. And one of the major challenges that according to me that we are facing is that we are facing a world in which the machines are replacing human efforts. So far the system that we have evolved is that you work and we pay. And with that payment, the economy is sustained. Now if there is no work, how do you pay to the people? And if you don't pay to the people, how do you sustain the economy? This is the question that we have to face. Not today, maybe after 30 years, maybe after 40 years. That's why government is talking of giving money, free money. In fact, Rahul Gandhi said of Nyaya, he distributing 6,000 rupees per month or something like 72,000 rupees per year to the people. And this was the original idea from that Nobel laureate, Abhijit Banerjee. He suggested to him that this is the only way you can bring up economy. Now whatever our Prime Minister may say, he has come up with 2,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees to the farmers. It is the same. Only thing the quantum of money is different and the language is different. But ultimate solution is the same. Give money to the people. And that is what trade unions were doing. Asking, give money for the workers and people used to work. At least trade union had a logic. We are working, we are contributing, therefore give us the share. Now there is no question whether you are working or not. In order to survive, we need money. Please give us. It is like begging board. We like to have that kind of a society. These are the questions. And therefore, the question of creative destruction is now in crisis. Destruction is there. It is with this appropriation of the property, farmers are losing their properties. It is the companies and the big people who are taking over the land, which is exactly what did not happen from 1947 to 1987. The land was distributed from zamindars to the workers. In fact, I would like to share that all countries which have distributed land have done better. It is China in which the land was distributed. Today China's economy is number 2. In Japan, land was distributed. No, it is the smallholders, farmers. Japan is economy number 4. South Korea, which we are competing, nobody has more than 2 or 3 acres of farmland. They are doing better. Productivity is better. It is our experience in Bengal, where the land was distributed, the productivity of land is much better than the rest of India. We are number 1 in potato growth, we are number 1 in rice, as far as productivity is concerned. Because if the people work, They work with all the, only thing is they need to be helped. New technology has to be given to them, new seeds has to be given to them, water has to be provided. All these things government and society will have to do. But now we are not talking of land distribution in India. In fact, it is consolidation that is taking place. Now, consolidation may be good for a corporate farming. That is what happens in America, where I visited a farm of 6,000 acres, operated by 3 families, with all automatic machine. I was asked to sit on a tractor, and the green peas were grown there. They were cut, brought, packed by the machine itself. When we were driving the tractor, everything was happening behind. And by the time I got up, 50 bags of green peas were already there, fully packed, and everything ready for sale. That kind of mechanization is there, and if we have that kind of vision, you may call it development, but what will happen to the people doing work? So who are we going to attend that? There is no trade union in that area. So who is going to attend that? And the corporations are forcing us to do that. Very simple thing I will share with you. Government is talking of fortified food. We have malnutrition. We have people with who lack iron. Anemia is very common, and so we are all worried that our children's growth, if it is hampered, it is not sustained. Then we have a generation of malnutrition, undernourished. So how do we address it? By giving fortified food. So we are talking of fortifying milk with some vitamin D. We are talking of fortifying rice with iron and vitamin A. We are talking of fortifying salt with iodine. I mean, these are things which are being done. How much money Government of India is spending on it? More than 3,800 crores. And which are the companies which are getting all these orders? It is only 5 European companies which are getting this order. And there is no proof. Abhijit Banerjee tells there is no proof that this really helps in fighting the malnutrition. But there is a scheme that is government is doing. In fact, Amul, which is the biggest cooperative seller of milk, has refused to fortify its milk. They say that this is an artificial thing. We do not know what will be the impact of artificial fortification on the children drinking milk. Therefore, we refuse to do it. So Amul has refused to do it. But 5.5 million liters of milk is being fortified with artificial things by the rest of the companies. This is a problem. GM seeds. I mean, people say that China is accepting, everybody is accepting, unless the productivity grows. But what will be the impact of GM seed on the health of the people, next generation? There are no studies available. So there are no simple answers. So the change is posing new problems: environment, GM food, fortified food, and its impact on the health. I mean, these are new questions which the older generation didn't have to. In 1974, when I started, I never talked about environment. Today, if the industry comes, there is a demand that environmental impact should be studied. I don't know if 1974, if that thing would have been there, whether we would have had industries in Aurangabad, I don't know. It wasn't there. Because awareness was not there. Let us see. Nobody did it deliberately, but awareness was not there. But today, after getting awareness also, if we continue with the same thing, the same old thing, I think it will be detrimental to us. Quite interesting problems coming up. I have unions in Crompton Greaves. You know what has happened to Crompton Greaves. The chairman himself has been accused of misappropriating more than 3,000 crores from the fund. Now most of the companies have orders where we have unions, but there is no money. So the new management thought, let us sell the Worli plant. Now Worli plant, we have a union where workers are opposing sell. Now unless that plant is sold, which can give 2,800 crores, the rest of the companies will not survive, because from where will the money come? The banks will not give you money. Shareholders will not pump in money. So who will give the money? So as a trade unionist, I am at a loss what to do. Because on one hand, the union is fighting that companies should not be closed and sold. And at other places, the workers are saying that unless that is sold, we will not get the work, and so we will have to suffer. So these are very moral dilemmas which we are facing because of these modern changes that is coming. The answers are not easy. It is very easy to blame the management. It is very easy to blame the trade unionists. That these are badmash people and because of them the problems are created. The answers are very easy. But real questions are very complicated. Bombay Textile Strike is a classical example. See, 65 mills were closed. But there was no shortage of cloth in India. Not that we imported cloth from outside. Let me be very clear. Because that is the answer sometimes. If there is an onion shortage, we bring onion from Pakistan. And we don't mind eating Pakistani onions because they don't taste bad. And eating Pakistani onions is not Deshadro, according to people concerned. But the problem remains. 65 textile mills producing cloths were closed for more than 3 years. There was no shortage of cloths. A new technology had emerged which helped in producing cloth at a cheaper rate in a decentralized manner. And that is why you see the power loom increased in Panipat, in Thrissur, in Malegaon, in Bhiwandi. And decentralization of production took place. Branding, the company started only branding the things. The production took place in the power looms. And we as a trade unionists failed to organize the power loom workers. We have been trying desperately. But we have not been able to succeed. Because there are 4 people, 5 people, most of them are relatives again. Some of them are the owners themselves. They are owners also and they are workers also. So how do we organize them? I mean, very peculiar problem. This change is giving us a big challenge. As a trade unionist, I daily face it. And therefore, when Yogesh told me that what is the subject on which you would like to talk, I said I would like to contemplate. And I would like to share my contemplation with you. And that is what precisely I am doing. I am not trying to tell you that this is good or bad, but I am telling you the problems that we are facing because they are not only my problems, it is the problem of the society. And you are a part and parcel of the society. There are people who are trying to answer this question. The Scotland Prime Minister, the New Zealand Prime Minister, they have addressed this problem. What do they say? They say that we need an economy which cares, not an economy of GDP, but caring economy. That is what Amartya Sen has been telling us. What is important is that while running an economy, your government, your society is caring for the people who are adversely affected. If you do that, the economy will do well in the long run. But if you consider the old method of running economy, that profit is the only logic of all the activities, then you are going to land yourself into problem. And that is what as a trade unionists we try to tell them. We try to tell them. Of course, we have to tell the workers also. Because according to them, all problems are being solved by getting money. When we tell our workers to come and fight for a better ESIC hospital, they said, "No, उससे लड़ने में कोई फायदा नहीं है. Company को बोलो अच्छा insurance लगा दे." Because they feel that that is the way out. That is because that is an ideal that has been placed before them. You have to go away from the government services. That is development. That is becoming rich. And that is the logic of existence. And that is going to harm us. We need to fight for better public services. Public utilities have to be fine. We need to have better public transport system. Water bottle. I remember with Mafatlal I had in 1992 a debate in Nasik about, because that time just the water bottle had started. So he was saying that this is development. I said this may development because it may be a huge business, and that has happened. It is the 12,000 crore business now, putting water into the bottle and selling us. But how has it harmed us? Now in the hotel, it has become a practice for all the rich people to put bottles on the road. There is a Food and Drug Administration which tells the hotel people that it is their job to provide clean water. We don't fight for it. I remember that we as a student used to fight with the station master. How many days you have not cleaned the water tank? Please put up a notice that this is the day on which we have cleaned it. Now nobody fights for it. Everybody is happy. Then the government is also very happy. Privatizing everything, closing down, user to pay. If you have money, survive. If you don't have money, go to hell. Because the logic which was not there, it was there till 1917. There was a mention of ILO. Therefore, I would like to repeat this. See, from 1987, when trade unions fought for one historic struggle of 8 hours working day, and which we got, we managed the society as a large, government, and everyone said that this is interference in the market. And if you allow trade unions to interfere in the market, there will be distortion and economy will not develop. So there should not be encouragement to trade unions, there should not be encouragement for wage revision, there should not be law about wages. Let market decide everything. That was the logic. Till 1917 this remained. The fight started taking place everywhere. But in 1917 it was the workers of the Soviet Union who came to power. They did not want to take over the land, take over the factories. Please understand, people have misunderstanding about the things. The new economic policy which was declared by the Soviet government in 1917 did not talk of nationalization of industries. But all the owners ran away. So the government, ultimately the workers had to take over the factories. And that is how nationalization took place. And in 1930, when there was a general crisis, people were losing the job, the only country where jobs were not lost was Soviet Union. Because the government policy was employment to all. And that Keynes picked up from there. He said, if government gives employment to all, the economic crisis can be avoided. That was the logic. But after 1980 today, what is happening? Again, we are reversing the trade. We are saying the trade unions are bad. If anybody is poor and not educated, in spite of the opportunities given by society, it is because of he is incompetent. So we should care for him. That kind of logic is being now again thrust upon us. When our Prime Minister talks of animal spirit, what is an animal spirit? It is in Marathi, Badi Dokan Puri. The supreme, the big ones will survive. So is that an animal spirit? That is what is happening today. You see most of the news that is coming in. There was an interesting news that Nana refinery project has been stopped. And people were getting the credit that it is because of X, Y, Z and so on. But the next day that small news came that the capacity of the refinery in Jamnagar was increased. And Armaico, which was going to start the Nana refinery, has taken away 20% shares from that factory. So now all the oil which was coming to Nana will go to Jamnagar factory. Adani, today Adani oil 20% oil has been taken over by Total, the French energy giant. Nobody talks of Swadeshi. We are in the 150th year of the Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. Who taught us about Swadeshi? I am not for Swadeshi. We all never, in 1989 also when people were publishing, I had a very funny experience. I had a list of products which were said to be Indian. And the people were moving around. I don't remember the name, Mr. Dixit or something. They were moving around with that paper saying that these are Indian products you should publish, you should purchase it. And within 2 months, most of the products were taken over by Hindustan Lever or some other companies. Tata was an example. Tata whole Lamam Soup and everything was taken over by Hindustan Lever. So what is the whole complex has changed? The concept of national sovereignty, Swadeshi, everything has undergone change. And we have to adjust it. Now we can't insist that we will be, because we are also going out. We are also purchasing. For example, Tata's went out to purchase steel plants. Tata's went out to purchase Jaguar. So we are also going out. So no, this is a process which nobody can stop. The technology is so advanced that it is very difficult to stop. So can we stop the march of technology? Here Gandhi becomes relevant. Let us not misunderstand Gandhi by saying that he was opposing to technology. What he insisted was that technology is the creation of human being. So we should not allow technology to dominate human beings. We are the masters of technology. Let us not forget this. We are the creators of technology. We means, I am not talking of XYZ. I am talking of human society as well. So human society, if it loses its sense of proportion, if it loses that everything is for the benefit of the society, that means ultimately benefit of human beings. If we lose that, and if you only insist on increasing GDP and profit, then we have no solution to the problems. Then we will not be able to combat change. We will surrender to the change. And as a human being, I am for not surrendering to change. We can adopt to change, we can accept changes, but provided there is a logic of better human life. And that is what we should all do, and that is what trade unions are trying to do, and therefore the existence of trade unions cannot be wished away. So with these words,
I don't think I should continue for a longer time. I thank you all for having given me an opportunity to share my thoughts. I would welcome any questions if you have. I wanted to share some personal experience, but I thought that it would not be proper because I see many recognized faces. And I will be also embarrassed and they will be also embarrassed. So I'm trying to avoid it. But the problems are there. And adopting to the change is a challenge. This challenge will have to be accepted. But if we can accept that challenge, if you have a value and a vision. In the Mint paper recently, there was a question by a corporate officer. He was saying that I have to employ security guards for 12 hours and give them 8 hours payment, minimum wage. If I bring them down to 8 hours, I have a problem at hand. What should I do? He has given an answer. So people started talking about socialism and capitalism. I simply said it is not a question of socialism or capitalism. It is a question of following law and values. There is a law which says that nobody should work for more than 8 hours. And if you are taking work for 12 hours, you are breaking the law. Is it your value to break the law? So trust your value and trust the law. And if you follow that, there is always a way where there is a will. I always, with very difficult things, I went on week, workmen went on strike for 6 months, for 120 days, 150 days to face some problems. But we always found out a way out and negotiated. So I always feel if there is a way, there is a will, there is a way. But both the will and the way has to have some kind of a value system. If you don't have value system, if you have only what you call as accommodation, as it is happening today, that nobody knows that in which party who is going to be there for a long time. If that kind of opportunism comes in, and if you try to settle and call it a pragmatism, then we are in for a swing. So let us be value-oriented, future-oriented, and let us not get dejected by the changes which are affecting us. Because ultimately, human society, the march of human society has always told us that the interest of the majority has always been protected in the long term. So with that view, if we go, I think there will be solutions to the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving your valuable insights on today's topic from historic area to present era. Sir, I'm sure your address will help a lot in understanding the challenges of change for industrial relations and trade union in the era of globalization, automation, and creative distraction. Thank you once again, sir. There are some out-of-sight support who, although not otherwise visible, but they play a major role in the organization of such kind of learning session. They are our backbone, our pillar of support, our sponsors. We express our wholehearted gratitude to our sponsor, HDFC Bank Limited, and co-sponsor Manjit and Pride Venture. Moving forward, we have with us Mr. Raja Upadhyay, Senior Vice President and Circle Head of HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank was incorporated in August 1994. Currently has a nationwide network of 5,130 branches and 13,395 ATMs in 2,764 Indian towns and cities. Hold market leadership in working capital, car loan, two-wheeler loans, credit cards, personal loans, etc. HDFC Bank has received a number of impressive awards, which are added milestone in their success journey, like Forbes World's Best Bank reports HDFC as #1 bank in India. Brand Z Top 100 Most Valuable Global Brands 2019. Dun & Bradstreet BFSI Award 2019 as India's leading bank in private sector. The Banker Global Private Banking Award 2018 for Best Private Bank in India. Mr. Aditya Puri, Managing Director of HDFC Bank, has made it to Bureau's list of top 30 global CEOs for the fourth consecutive year. Now I invite on stage Mr. Praveen Mungli, Head CRM Corporate Salary, and Ms. Shweta Vasudevan to take us through the presentation.
all the key officials from the Aurangabad. Before I start, I'd like to call upon our Circle 8, Mr. Raja Upadhyay, Senior Vice President from HDFC Bank, to come here and say details. Also, I'd like to call upon Mr. Satish Jairam, Principal of Institute of IHM, to please come on the stage. And also Raja sir to come here.
Dr. Kambo, probably I got carried away for last 1 hour or so. I did not think I was a banker. I actually went into my earlier days. So I can correlate for what you are saying. Dr. Kambo, all the dignitaries, everyone from Aurangabad. I am basically from petroleum industry. So I can correlate exactly what you are saying, whether working in India or abroad. And I have worked in the companies you have named. I have worked in Total, I have worked in Shell. So I exactly know what an HR guy goes through in an industrial outfit. So I'll not take a lot of time. I'll keep it short. And I thought of speaking about the bank, but after listening to you, I am changing it. So, first of all, I would just want to tell you the meaning of change for me as a banker. So, you have to understand that bank कैसे change हो गया. How many of you don't have Amazon on your smartphone? Please raise your hand. So out of 150 odd people, there are 4 guys who don't have. This is resistance to change. Okay. How many of you book your ticket by sending a guy with 10,000 rupees and telling him 9,200 रुपए की ticket आएगी, तो इंडिगो के काउंटर पे जाओ ticket लेकर आ जाओ. How many of you book a ticket like that? How many of you book a ticket by sending your office boy to a railway station and asking him कि बेटा आज मेरे wife की और बच्चे की train के ticket लेकर आ जा? No one. That is a challenge to a banker. People have changed, market has changed, senior citizens have changed. This girl, Shweta, probably 20 to 23 years old, this is called a YOLO generation. You live only once. They have changed. And the customer expects the bank changes in a matter of 12 months. So in 2012, when smartphone came into the country, people had a habit of sending a guy, go to the bank and remove cash and come. Now, if you don't get your relationship manager picking up the phone, even if he is driving a two-wheeler, even if he is on leave, even if he is not keeping well, because you have a habit as a customer कि मैंने मैकडोनल्ड में ऑर्डर किया था 45 मिनट में आ गया, मेरे आरएम ने फोन क्यों नहीं उठाया? If I have got a relationship with a bank and they have to service us, and I have ordered clothes from Amazon, it comes on time. Why is my salary not credited on the same day? This experience was not there 7 years back. You have changed as customers. And then changing at the same level for 4.5 customers, 4 crores customers in the country, for 1.2 lakh manpower at the pace at which the country has changed, of what you were saying, resistance to change, is not easy. It is not easy as a Indian bank to have grown by $21 billion, the only bank in the world to have grown by $21 billion in market share in last 1 year, 30th September this year, 1st of October last year. All private banks taken on one side, all PSU banks taken on one side. HDFC Bank has got more market capitalization. All of you are from industry, you understand what is market capitalization. Why? we are not an MNC. We don't have an MD who is an expat. We don't have a chairman who has come from outside. We don't have a trade union. But most of the PSUs, even the defense installation which is there, the army, the police department which is there in Aurangabad, they bank with us. Why? I am taking away from the point that he was making. We are doing for the society. And I am talking as a banker. And I am talking from a bank which is sponsoring an event. We would be spending more than 25 crores, 60 kilometers from here. People don't know that HDFC Bank has got one of the biggest CSR spends in the country. And I don't want to say who is who. It is one of the biggest. We spend more in CSR, in giving jobs to NGOs in Maharashtra than a lot of big corporates taken together. Now, why do I say all these things? It's because I am coming to point number one. When the same organization asks the customer कि नहीं आप चेकबुक जाके बैंक से मत लो, मोबाइल बैंकिंग डाउनलोड करो, the customer is resistant. So that is the reason we are here. Sir, I actually could correlate because I was born 2 years after you started your career. So my experience is limited and it is much lesser than your age, than your experience. But I can tell you one thing. As a bank, our vision is we understand your world. And that is the reason I gave you this past lecture of 5 minutes. As a bank, if you see these two hoardings, festive treats, this is the first time after Amazon and Flipkart came that the Dussehra sales is not being done a buyback by HDFC Bank. We are fighting with Amazon and Flipkart head on as a bank. You will not understand this till the time it reaches next year, because once Amazon has got Great Indian Sale, Flipkart has got $1 billion sale, HDFC Bank as a bank has started festive treats. We are developing this brand and again resistance to change. The only way you can do it is you become so strong that you take head on the best players in the world. Am I in loss? No. Do I have the best NPAs in the country? Yes. When the industry NPA for any other bank, even a private bank, is more than 1.5%, I am at 0.43. If I sell an HDFC Bank share in Nasdaq today, total, I can buy Deutsche Bank. I am repeating. If I sell HDFC Bank shares, I can buy a Deutsche Bank. But when I open a corporate account, the same Indian customer tells me, Citibank mein hamara account hai. So for information all of you, I come from Pune. I take care of rest of Maharashtra. So Aurangabad is a part of rest of Maharashtra. Most of the corporates, a corporate like Credit Suisse, which is a bank, they bank with HDFC Bank. I am repeating it. A corporate like Credit Suisse, which is a Switzerland bank, they bank with HDFC Bank. So I'll take ahead from what you were discussing and tell you very clearly, I feel the only solution is, I am not a person who can comment on trade union and I am not a person who can comment on business, but I can tell you, if you are strong and you have a strong team as good as a bank that we are, you can take any organization in the world head on. So that is the reason, first time ever, we are holding an event and being a part of an HR event. We do this in Pune, Bombay, Bangalore. First time we are coming to a smaller city. I go to my point number 2. People think that a private bank like HDFC Bank is a profit-making organization. Yes, it is. But do you know 48 to 44% of HDFC Bank branches are in semi-urban and rural areas. When I came in, all the three gentlemen, inclusive of Dr. Kambo, were asking me that how many people are based out of Aurangabad. Right now, we have got 3 vice presidents. We have got 9 assistant vice presidents, 3 deputy vice presidents based out of Aurangabad upwards towards Nanded and Latur. No other bank, even an PSU bank of the size of our, now we are number 2 in most of the places, so I can name it, will have such a setup in a place like Aurangabad. So we are not looking at Pune, Bombay and Bangalore for employment. Every branch we open, and we are the only bank in the country which is opening its own branches, not taking over any other bank, at a pace of 15%. If I had 5,000 branches, I am opening 650 branches this year. I am not talking about any other thing. Why do you think I am telling you I have put, we have put such a senior management here? It is because of all of you. In Aurangabad, we were 8th or 9th biggest player. Right now, we are number 2 and number 3. And we are increasing branches. Probably we will be opening 3 branches in next 3-4 months. Last point. Again, taking away from what he said. Change and then family. अब हम जानते हैं सिर्फ 4 लोगों के पास अमेज़न नहीं है. अब आप ये बताइए, आप में से कितने लोगों के वाइफ के पास अमेज़न नहीं है? अब आप ये बताइए, आप में से कितने लोगों के बच्चे जो 5 साल से ऊपर है और स्मार्टफोन यूज नहीं करते? वो हमारा चैलेंज है. And there is a humble request I have to give to all of you. And that humble request is again taking away a word from him, artificial intelligence. होता क्या है कि एक employee है, probably most of the big corporates here they bank with us, so I'll not name it. But one of them who has been with us for long, Bajaj for example, Bajaj का employee है and वो 40 साल से बजाज में. उन्होंने अकाउंट खोला SBI में. वाइफ का अकाउंट है बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में. बच्चे जवान हो गए, एक का अकाउंट एक्सिस बैंक में है, एक का अकाउंट किसी और बैंक में. और that employee who is working with you at a middle level, he comes and asks कि मेरे को पर्सनल लोन चाहिए. Now for that salary, I could have given him 20 lakhs. But I can give him only 5 lakhs of personal loan because of the mistake of that customer in today's environment. What did he do? He put his money in 4 different banks. So when my credit manager, which is an computer, analyzed, उसने बोला आपकी सर eligibility 5 लाख ही है. And had he banked only with us, the same customer we would have given him 20 lakhs at a better rate. So it is my humble request that if you are banking with any bank, right now I am saying any bank, you put all your accounts in one bank. Because the way things are going on artificial intelligence, your credit worthiness is calculated on algorithm. Now I come from the HR side and I have been in petroleum industry, so I know what you go through. What does an HR has to offer? You can't increase salary till the time your senior management gives an okay. But what you do is, you negotiate properly with a bank like us and tell them that you move your account to HDFC Bank, move your family accounts. The bank gives you the best credit card rates. I am not giving. She just said, we have 40% market share. So if I have 40% market share, everywhere you go and use the card, he will give you the best rate. If I have the best, I have a personal loan market share of 35%. So as an HR guy, what happens, and a challenge to us, without naming anyone, it becomes very difficult that you are having a salary account with HDFC Bank, you are paying a loan from SBI, okay, and your son wants to go abroad and he has taken an education loan from Bank of Baroda. How can I help you? I can't. You take your loan from us, you pay to us, open your family accounts. The same branch managers will not help you. Your own application, which is your mobile application, will tell you that, sir, you are eligible for so and so loan. Probably this is the only education from this forum I would want to give. You have to understand, the government of India has declared HDFC Bank the most safest bank after SBI 2 years back. So don't have to worry. I have not declared, RBI has not declared, government of India declares only if some external agency declares it. So money and faith is not a problem. Our only challenge is we have such a huge market share in all the products. We are increasing in places like Aurangabad, Jalna, Bid, Nanded, क्योंकि आप लोगों के एम्प्लॉइज यहाँ के रहने वाले हैं. आप लोगों के एम्प्लॉइज, मुझे पता है कि चाकन से बंदा पैसा ट्रांसफर जबलपुर करता है, नासिक करता है, लातूर करता है, मेरा ब्रांच है वहाँ. And I am digitally present during demonetization. He was giving an example. We opened branches till 2 o'clock in the night. Why? Because we have local employees. 80% of the staff which is there in Aurangabad are from Aurangabad. They know how the money has to go. We know what is the problem which happens in a place like Waloj or a place like Jalna which has got local and migrated. So the only request I have, and I will close it here, I will not pitch for any business. The only business I will pitch is, the world is moving towards artificial intelligence. Bank is increasing. We are increasing jobs at the rate of 5,000 to 10,000 every year. We are increasing branches. एक branch में 6 लोग काम करते हैं, multiply करो. बाकी department आ रहे हैं, you can just multiply. But if I have to give you best service, I have to take use of that same mobile phone which you use, not me. You are using that mobile phone. I am not asking you to use it. So once you download my app, move all your accounts in one place, probably the offer which you will get. And I am challenging you to compare. There is a reason, a bank, the first bank in the world is taking Amazon head on. It has to happen with some backing and some bandwidth. So I will close it here, but there is a learning, I will give it to the management. Resistance to change. I have learned it today. Thank you very much.
So just to take further on the key offerings of HDFC Bank. So as said by Rajesh sir, we are market leader in the private sector banks in India, and there are lots of accolades which our bank has received and it's available in print media also. Just to give you more perspective, 35 out of 100 cars which are being financed, just to give a sample, are being financed by HDFC Bank. This is the market share of HDFC Bank. 50% of the cars market share is with HDFC Bank. Close to whatever the personal loan business which all banks does and HDFC Bank does. So there is a monthly gap of close to 3,000 crore in our nearest competition. So we are strong in private bank, and I would like to thank Mr. Yogesh Yadav for inviting us and giving us a platform to discuss with all the key official dignitaries. And I take up the corporate salary business for the region, and we have the fantastic corporate salary solutions and the key features in our account. So I'll just take 2 minutes of your time and brief you about the key benefits in our corporate salary account. So there are total 10 benefits are there. Like since it's a premium corporate salary account, the account which our bank is offering, that is a zero balance account for the employee, as well as we are the only bank who offers a zero balance account for the employee's family members also. So one can open the zero balance family saving account for his immediate family members like parents, siblings, kids in that relationship. A particular employee can open the zero balance account. Secondly, there are lots of cashback on debit card, credit cards are there. Plus, we have complimentary insurance cover on our debit card and salary account. It's ranging from personal accident death cover of 15 lakhs to air accidental death cover of 1.25 crore on the salary account, as well as by virtue of the corporate salary account. The employee's family, if they are having family saving account, they can also enjoy the insurance cover benefits. Plus, there are certain integrated solutions which are mentioned in point number 4. So that is basically, if anybody is a startup company with an employee strength of 15-25 employees also in a catchment like Aurangabad, so we can open the account, we can give integrated solutions where we can pay the salary payouts through digitally. We have innate solutions to that, and our team can guide you further on that. Plus, we have net banking, mobile banking. Since it's corporate salary account, all the transactions which normally everybody does, that is NFT, RTGS, is completely free of cost. There is no extra charges for that. Plus, we have lots of mobile banking transactions from mobile banking app, which anybody can do by addition of beneficiary, booking us small recurring deposits, fixed deposits. If anybody is in an urgency, he can liquidate the fixed deposit also. So that is available on mobile banking app. The 6th point is the missed call banking. Gone are the days when people used to visit the branch for a simple request like checkbook indent karna. So there is in our bank there is one missed call number where the employee can give just a missed call from his registered mobile number, and the checkbook indent will be placed immediately, and the employee will get an alert. The account holder will get an alert on his registered mobile number that Mr. So-and-so, your checkbook request has been placed and it will be delivered to you mailing address in 4 to 5 working days. So this is the digital footprint of our bank. So we have the ATM access wherein there is this debit card accessible at HDFC as well as other like ATM. Plus we have special pricing for loans like personal loan, two-wheeler loan, car loan, home loan. And on the loans also, we have recently started a smart overdraft for our salary account customers. The principle is, this product is very innovative in its own, because someone is drawing a salary of 20,000 also is eligible for the smart overdraft. In case of emergency, that customer can apply it through digitally only. There is no paper filling for this. Plus, we have for our senior officials for profile, we have our HNW programs, high net worth programs, wherein we have classic, preferred, imperial and banking programs, wherein the employees and the senior officials can get advantage.
How many times you are giving free airport lounge access in a quarter?
In a quarter, on the card, it's 2 times in a quarter. But there are certain variants of cards wherein, like we have Infinia card where there is unlimited access to the
normal card.
Normal card 2 times in a quarter. Yearly 8 times.
So why you are not popularizing that? You skip that part.
No,
you
sir,
told everything.
No,
You skip that part.
valley person to person, profile to profile.
No, you skip that part.
No.
You are popularizing everything except that. So why I am not talking about only HDFC. Is all bank, why they are doing it? What is the problem? Why you do not want to pass on benefit to the customer? Your senior vice president has given a good lesson to everybody, but why actually at work you are not popularizing that?
Sir, give me your number, I'll give you.
No, I don't. Not give what is you should popularize. You are not popularizing for the benefit of the people, but you are talking that we are giving that much of benefit to the people. So always, while talking, somewhere with this type of forum where all senior people are sitting, walk the talk only. That only I want to say.
Yeah, point rightly said by sir. So we have a variety of debit cards and credit cards wherein this airport lounge access is there, wherein domestic airport lounge you can access 2 times in a quarter. We have a credit card like Regalia and Regalia First, wherein there is we issue the priority pass, when you can access the priority pass at the international airport also, wherein also the same limit is there. So priority pass is for the international travel, and this normal card is for the domestic travel, wherein the limit is 2 times per quarter is there. So these are the insurance cover benefit which I just talked about on the salary account as well as family account. So the corporate is having tie-up with us. and if something accidentally happened to the employee, as a bank, there is a coverage of personal accident death of 15 lakhs. As our senior has just said, this is for the corporate salary account, as well as I just checked this invite list. There are some government officials are also there. So for this we have tied with SRPF, Railway Protection Force, this police force. When this limit we have enhanced for these government officials also. Further, just to we have recently launched the festive treat. My colleague Shweta will take this and give you guidance on the same and talk about the features of the festive treat.
Good evening all. Just like Raja sir said, we the Euro generation is more interested in cashbacks and offers. So HDFC Bank has brought in a one-of-a-kind feature called Festive Treats, wherein we are offering a number of liability products like loans, and we are offering you cashbacks, no-cost EMIs and low-cost EMIs for the same. So like you can just see over here, we have not just kept ourselves limited to the liability products, we've also gone further, and now we've introduced ourselves into consumer durables for lifestyle as well as for appliances. So like you can see, we're not just there, we are actually everywhere from
So, again taking away from his point, normally क्या होता है कि ऑनलाइन आप शॉपिंग करते हैं तो सब ब्रांडेड शोरूम आते हैं, मर्चेंट्स रह जाते हैं. Most of the merchants they bank with us. So Vijay Sales, Maharashtra Electricals, I don't know any other tie-up which is there in Aurangabad. So Croma, Reliance, जो इंडियन रिटेल नेटवर्क हैं, बोथ डिजिटल, क्लोथिंग, वी हैव टाइड अप विद देम. क्वाइट पॉसिबल गांव वाला व्यक्ति एचडीएफसी बैंक का ओनर है, उसको नहीं चाहिए अमेज़न. बट व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम एवर इन इंडिया, एंड दिस इज नॉट फॉर 4 days, this is not for 5 days, this is there till 30th of November. For any customer who has got a card, he goes to all this showroom which is listed. They have just showed a snapshot. उसको नियरली वही रेट मिलता है, वही डिस्काउंट मिलता है. प्लस there is a consumer durable loan, and a consumer durable loan is a zero EMI. Okay, and the zero EMI is not from an NBFC. It is from a bank like HDFC Bank. What benefit do I get? I get that customer who is permanent. लोग भाई क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, आपको क्या मिला जीरो EMI में? अगर आपने 1 लाख रुपए का सामान लिया तो आप 6 महीने बाद 1 लाख रुपए रखोगे ना अकाउंट में, तो बाकी जगह का अकाउंट बंद करोगे, मेरे अकाउंट में डाल दोगे, तो आप मेरे परमानेंट कस्टमर हो गए. सिर्फ वही चाहिए मेरे को. समवेयर डाउन द लाइन फॉर द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कम्युनिटी, दिस इज एन एरिया विच प्रॉब्ली what the girl is saying, that it is very important for you to tell even your employees. क्योंकि जो benefit है, if you go through the pricing, I myself bought a TV through this around a week back, and I used to be online earlier. So this is something probably you should not miss it and compare. You compare, you take it here, go online and compare. जो offer आपको online मिलेगा, online अगर सस्ता मिलेगा वहाँ से ले लेना. लेकिन bonus points. This is one part I wanted to help her. And sir, your question I will answer on the card why you were skipping. This is a question which comes to HR, to us, कि आपने हमको ऑफर दिया है, आप वर्कर को भी वही ऑफर क्यों नहीं देते हो जो सबको देते हो? As a bank, I deal in money, so I have to match the card which I am offering to a person. This is his salary or the balance he is making. So what happens in a forum like this, and I am sorry to say, in a forum like this, normally there is a request which comes to the corporate, बाकी सब ठीक है, but whenever there is a personalized offer, you have a word one-to-one. So what we have done, that as is mentioned rightly, that Imperial Preferred Classic is a program which has started. वो आपको कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Once the HR sends a list to us, we go back to them and tell them these are the people who can come in this program, and those RMs come to them personally. In your case, I will check who's the RM who did not tell you. So I have a question. I'm sorry for that.
हम लोग ऐसे ही बदमाश हैं.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you sir for your inputs. Like just Raja said, we have a program which is called a Smart Buy, जहाँ पे आप कंपेयर कर सकते हो हमारे वेबसाइट पे जो प्राइसेस लिस्ट किए गए हैं और दूसरे आपके जो मेजर वेबसाइट्स हैं वहाँ पर, और आपको जहाँ पे भी लगता है कि आपका फ़ायदा ज़्यादा होगा ऑब्वियसली वहाँ से बाय कर सकते हो. उसके अलावा जो हम लोग ऑफर कर रहे हैं दैट इज़ नॉट जस्ट कैश बैक, दैट इज़ ऑल्सो रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स. तो अगर आप आपके क्रेडिट कार्ड से स्पेंड करते हैं तो सिर्फ आपको कैशबैक नहीं मिलता, आपको आपके रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट्स भी मिलते हैं जो बेसिस आपके क्रेडिट कार्ड या डेबिट कार्ड वेरिएंट के आप मनी में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो या कहीं भी जाकर रिडीम कर सकते हो. उसके अलावा ये जो फेस्टिव ट्रीट्स का ऑफर रहेगा दिस इज फ्रॉम द पीरियड ऑफ 3 months, जस्ट लाइक राजा सर सेड इट्स फॉर अ स्पैन ऑफ 3 months, और ये ऑफर सबके लिए ओपन है. So I would like you to just inform the people that you know of in your family and otherwise, and let us all be a part of a big festival called as the Festive Treats. Thank you so much. I would like to conclude here. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Team HDFC. We have with us architect Nitin Bagadia of Manjit and Pride Venture India Private Limited as our co-sponsor. Manjit and Pride Venture is one of the well-known real estate builder in Aurangabad. Everyone's dream of a home to make them proud since their inception for more than a decade ago. The group has lived up to their name, creating not just home but offices and commercial space as well. They turned those dreams into reality. The group was first introduced the concept of large living in Aurangabad, with homes that offered large living spaces loaded with modern amenities. An unflinching commitment to quality has since the group evolved into a leader in the real estate space, with more than 1 million square foot of development to its credit. Now I would like to call upon stage Mr. Saurabh Gupta from Manjit and Pride Venture to give more details of their upcoming projects.
Good evening all. I would first like to thank for the session today. I would thank Yogesh for having us give the opportunity to us to have a partnership in this event. Secondly, I would like to thank sir for enlightening us with all the data which he shared, the all rich experience which he had about the trade union also. I am very new to it, so I got to learn a lot of things out of the speech today. And taking the event forward, I would like to give you the presentation about the things which we do in Aurangabad. We are a real estate company, and the topic for today of the change and the resistance to change and the technology which has come into the business is what we are also into. So I would take you through the presentation of what Pride Group is, what we have been doing in Aurangabad since last 18 years since our inception in 2001, and currently what are the projects which we are doing. As we all HRs and HR heads are here, you have the company here, you have the employees which keep on coming from different places. Like we discussed today, that people from different locations are transferred to Aurangabad as well. There are people who are willing to upgrade their lifestyle, whose families are increasing, who have more members in the family and want to upgrade from a 2 BHK to say a 3 BHK or a 4 BHK. So the kind of work which we are doing in Aurangabad is what I am here to present to you. I'll quickly take you through the slides, and we have a walkthrough of the project which we have recently launched by the name of VXL at My World Chikalkhana. So Pride Group is founded by Mr. Navin Bagadia and Nitin Bagadia. Nitin Bagadia is the architect passed out from JVC in Aurangabad. Navin Bagadia sir looks after the finance and other verticals of the company. So we started off in 2001. We concept for the projects which we have currently are for mega housing. Like for example, our My World project, which is there opposite airport, is an 18 acres project, and we have 2, 3, 4, and even 5 BHK flats there, and we have the sample flats also ready on site. Talking about the technology also, I would like to add on that we have the virtual VRs also available here today. So at the stall you can have the goggles placed in and you can actually feel the flats as well. So that's a new technology that has come to Aurangabad for the first time. Some of the projects which we have completed are the projects. Pride Enigma is the project at Surbini Chowk, which most of you must be aware of. Pride Tower is there at Vedant Nagar. There are other projects also which we have completed. One of the project of Waluj was Manjit Pride. These are all the projects which we have completed in recent time out of the total 25 projects which we have already completed. This is the VXL project which we have recently launched. I'll ask the AV please. We have the walkthrough of the project, which you can very well see the entire project, what all things are there in the project. This is the project opposite airport, besides McDonald's. So we try to have different amenities added on the project. So all the projects are highlighted. We have the terrace garden on the project. Bridges for the amenities to be used on the terrace. In today's world, where you have the parking spaces problem everywhere, we have 5 BHK flats with dedicated 4 car parks. So if you have 3-4 cars in the same flat, you will have good parking spaces in the project itself. So planning wise, we are taking care of it. This is the lobby of the project. BHK flat, you have given one room as an option where you will have a TV room or a library or an office where you can adjust to the requirement. VXL project which we just saw. These are the night views, these are the images of the entire project. VXL is part of your My World project. My World, we have 4 plots. We have divided the total project into 4 parts, out of which one part is VXL. This is the entire My World project. Apart from this, we have one project by the name of My Home, which is at Garkheda, just behind the Kodar International School, which is also 234 BHK. This we had launched recently in March 2019. We got a very good response to this project. The sample flat and your community building is already ready on the site. So you can have a visit in the project as well. This is the night view of the project. This is the clubhouse building of the project. At the Karla corner, we have a project by the name of Pride Century, which is one of the luxurious projects in the city. We have double height parking in the entire basement, solving the problems of the parking as well. So this is only 4 and 3 BHK, considering the area of the location of the project. We had designed the project for 4 and 3 BHK. The entire building is 9 floors and each floor has 4 flats on the project. This is the was of the project. And we have recently finished off with Pride Phoenix, which is at the Chikaldana besides your Ghati Hospital, mini Ghati Hospital, which is there in Chikaldana. So out of the 4 buildings, we have handed over 3 buildings. And the main point of this project was that first building was handed over in 2 years itself. So by the start of the project, when we got the bookings, in 2 years' time, we were able to give the possession of the entire project. So out of the 4 buildings, 1 building is pending with us, 1 building will be giving possession in 6 months' time. So out of 270 flats, we have already sold out around 240 flats. Last 30 flats are left. And you can visit the project and you can have a look as per the requirement. It's 2 and 3 BHK project. Then we have a plotting project which is at Shindra by the name of Manjit Pride Universal. It is a 24 acres land project which ranges from 1,000 square foot to 10,000 square foot of plots. And you have bigger plots as well on the main road, which is approximately 20,000 square foot. This is one of the only residential project which is there in Shindra. So for all the industries which are there, all the people who are looking out for plots for residence, this is one of the very lucrative projects which is bang on Jalna Road itself. You don't have to go inside the industrial area to have the residential plot. I would like everyone to see the website also. Like we were all sharing that we have all smartphones, so we can go on to the website and have a visit. And I would personally request everyone to visit the stall, have the experience of the VR goggles and VR technology which we have had. I have all the marketing team here as well, so you can very well see the project by the experience of VR itself. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Taking our evening further and to begin with our felicitation ceremony, I would request Mr. Ram Marlapalle, Senior Vice President, Corporate Endurance Group, to felicitate Dr. Bhalchandra Kango with token of love from Aurangabad HR Forum. Head of HDFC Bank. Mr. Raja has overall experience of more than 21 years and has been with HDFC Bank from last 12 years in varied roles at various locations. He started his journey in 2006 as state head of Maharashtra, Goa in direct sales. Basis his performance and experience, he was promoted as regional head of Gujarat State in 2008. Within a short period of his journey in the organization, he was eventually much bigger responsibility as a zonal head in direct sales for West based out of Mumbai, managing Mumbai, Gujarat and Rajasthan. After being in direct sales for more than 8 years, Mr. Raja then joined RBB 4 years ago in February 2015 as a cluster head. He has proven himself in the role and performed well in challenging and competitive catchment. He presently manages a book size of approximately 7,500 crores. I would request Mr. Somen Mujumdar sir Corporate Aurangabad Electrical Limited, a CIE group company, to felicitate our sponsor of the event, Mr. Raja Upadhyay. India Private Limited, our sponsor of the event. A Bachelor of Architecture has 20 years of rich experience in real estate industry. Under his able stewardship, the group's business has increased manifolds, spreading not merely geographically but also in innovative ability, growing number of landmark projects, offering mute testimony. Full of energy and enthusiastic approach to work personifies his personality. He has been the Honorable Vice President of CREDAI Aurangabad. He is integral part of the group for creating a vision for Aurangabad city and suggesting practical measures to implement them for Aurangabad's transformation into a world-class city. I would now request Mr. Vipul Dire, GM HR, Cosmo Films, to facilitate a co-sponsor of the event, architect Nitin Bagadia of Manjit and Pride Venture Private Limited. Request on stage Mr. Yogesh Jadhav, founder of Aurangabad HR Forum, to propose vote of thanks.
Very good evening to all. Thank you, Seema. No doubt, it's been a wonderful evening. When Kango sir is on the stage, when he is there to talk on IR issue, then there is there's nothing remaining to talk or ask whether it was valuable or not. You guys must have received a lot of IR knowledge from him. I would like to express my gratitude to Kango sir for sharing his extraordinary and melodious IR knowledge with us. Thank you, sir. I was keep in touch with Kango sir from last few months regarding write a blog on our website. Then after that, I thought asking a person for a blog is I'm making just injustice with the readable person who is reading his blog, because he Kango sir has a tremendous knowledge, and when I am asking blog, so he can write only few lines. Then I thought asking him to write a blog, instead of that I will call him for a session. Let everyone enjoy his practical knowledge. That will be most useful for Aurangabad HR fraternity. So this is how I connected with Kango sir. Sir, thank you very much for your valuable knowledge and your time. Moving further, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Raja Upadhyay, who has giving full support for this organizing successful event. I would like to express my gratitude to HDFC Bank and Mr. Raja Upadhyay. Also, I would like to express my gratitude to co-sponsor Manjit and Pride Venture, Architect Nitin Bagadia. Thank you very much for giving full-hearted support. I feel very privileged and humbled to see that hall is full packed, plus additional crowd of SDFC. No doubt the hall is full packed. Thank you all for your valuable time and attending this session. All HR fraternity and representative from SDFC Bank. In the last, I would like to express my gratitude to our team members who has been working for making this event successfully. I would like to thank Rohan, Abhijit, Alka, Seema and Vinit, who has worked to make this event successfully. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It has been our pleasure to organize such learning sessions. It's an honor to have been asked to host this event. Thank you, Aurangabad HR Forum. I declare the end of today's session. Once again, I thank you all for taking out time from your busy schedule to attend this event. I would now request for group photo, and then we can proceed for cocktail and dinner. Thank you all. Thank you so much.